But who is the audience? Because in your mind, like, who are you out there for? On whose behalf are you asking these questions? And how do you, in the role of a journalist like this, sort of decide for yourself where showbiz ends and the journalism begins, where the journalism ends and the showbiz begins, in terms of considering ratings, listening to producers?
Well, look, this is the first job I've had where I don't believe I'm judged on content first. I think my bosses would publicly never say that, but the fact of the matter is, your show is good if the ratings are good. You deal with this in entertainment. Your movie's good if it's a box office success. It doesn't matter how great your movie is. If it didn't make money, it's not a success, right? There are people that think that way. So this is the first time I've been judged now on numbers, on show business. And that is a little disconcerting for me. I'm struggling with this because it is. So for instance, I look back, I remember when I was preparing for the Cheney interview, the first Cheney interview that I had with the Torture Report, I read all of the Tim, and every time that Tim Russert had Cheney on, he had him on for the full hour. If I asked to have even Bernie Sanders on for 30 minutes, and I had the president on for 30 minutes, and I had some executives thought that was too much. No, about 20 minutes I was done. And I'm sitting there going, you don't get to have the president that often for that long. I've had two of the longest network television interviews with him. Yeah. And I'm pleased about that. And in fact, he is somebody that needs that much time. You can't do a good interview with him in eight minutes, which is something he and I have actually discussed, because the first few interviews we did were shorter ones. He got frustrated and I got frustrated. And finally it's sort of like he realized this is the right, because he's just and it's interesting, there's one of the candidates I'm already negotiating with their first appearance. They're worried we're only going to put them on for 8 minutes. And I said, no. You're somebody that I think the audience wants to hear from for 20 or 30. And they believe this person needs 20 or 30. So it's going to be, which is, you're going to ask the crappy questions, as they say, in their mind. And they're worried that in an 8-minute interview, it's going to take all 8 minutes to do all the crud, right? All the stuff that they have to deal with. If you do a 20 to 25-minute interview, you're going to have to deal with your crud, but at the same time, you're going to have a chance to do substance.
But I can just even see it. This is what I'm picking up watching your show, is that the frustration with the show business part of it, with because I kind of even question the premise. Yes, to an executive, the movie's just not a success if it's not a box office success. Mm-hmm. But to an artist, a movie's a success if the ideas that are in your head show up on the screen somehow. Mm-hmm. And then, yes, the struggle is, how do you get the financing for the next one? It creates problems when the things aren't commercially viable, for sure. And you have to find a way to keep your family eating. But for you, I wonder, because I know this matters. I watched this week when the Denny Hastert thing came out, right, and you said, I understand why. This is the first time that I can say it's very hard for me to tell the people at home, mm-hmm, these guys aren't all in it for themselves.
That's right.
They're not all corrupt, and they're not all there for the best interests of the people. But there's no way to know really how you would. Don't you think that execs always just push towards what they think is a comfortable middle?
No, I think you're right. And look, and I think my job is I think their job is, look, the minute news divisions were put into the position of having to be financially viable on their own, okay, that's their job. They have to answer to a boss too. So I get it. And our job is to figure out, how can we find a middle ground